A vote on the proposed $1.9 billion NFL stadium could come down any minute now, and 13 Action News is staying on top of the issue with team coverage.
Right. Well, Brian Callahan just stepped outside of that stadium committee meeting at UNLV here, and Parker Collins is also there right now getting reaction. And political analyst John Ralston is there as well. He is staying on top of everything for us this midday.
Right now, we are going to begin with Brian and get an update on where things stand right now. I know it's been a long morning.
Yeah, the committee just came back from a short break as they work towards a vote on the $1.9 billion stadium project. But earlier, they got a full show of support from the UNLV athletic department, which would benefit from the stadium because it would be home not just to the Raiders, but to the Rebels as well. They heard from the head football coach, Tony Sanchez. Take a listen to what he had to say.
This stadium will take us to an entirely different level, and it will really change the landscape of UNLV.
You're now taking a live look inside the meeting where they're starting to talk about some of those key decision points they have in front of them before they vote on the $1.9 billion project. Those include the makeup of the board that will oversee the stadium, as well as the proposed cap on public contributions, plus a possible tax exemption for the stadium. The stadium board was also urged to take its time by one of the most vocal opponents of the current deal in Commissioner Chris Giuliani.
No public financed stadium in the United States has benefited the public. Every one of them have cost more money.
The Stadium Committee's chairman, Steve Hill, has said he is working towards the vote today. He wants to hold the vote today, so we're going to head back in and keep an eye on the situation. For now, I'm going to toss it over to Parker Collins, who's been keeping an eye on the situation outside where there's been a large crowd. Parker?
I just want to say that outside, just to find a spot, we get to circle around for 15 minutes. That is how packed the parking lot is. If you do kind of a 180, you can see it's looking more like a tailgate out here. They're playing music, they're having food. Some of these people are telling me they come off a 12, 13-hour shift and came straight here. That is how much they care. That is how much this matters. I want to end on this. If you can zoom in on all this Raiders stuff we're seeing, some of them are telling me not all of them are Raiders fans. But this matters so much to them. They're out here, they're supporting it, and they're having fun anyways. Reporting live, Parker Collins, 13 Action News.
Thanks, Parker. Well, while there is a lot of excitement about the Raiders potentially coming to Las Vegas, people who oppose the stadium have some legitimate concerns.
Right, and obviously it's a very complicated issue here that we are dealing with. And 13 Action News political analyst John Ralston, he too just stepped out of that meeting to break it all down for us. So John, where do we stand right now?
Well, as Brian pointed out, it's moving along. They're voting now on some of the key issues, but this has all been resolved privately. This is what we call the dog and pony show aspect of all of this. The deals were made in the days and hours leading up to this meeting. $750 million in public money, that's locked in. There's not going to be any profit sharing at all. There's still an issue of whether the stadium will be completely exempt from any new or expanded taxes. But this is going to be sent to the legislature very shortly, whether it's within 30 minutes or a couple of hours. This is a done deal. Is the public protected? To the extent that the developers are picking up any cost overruns, they're paying for any infrastructure associated with this, you know, like traffic lanes, that they have to increase the amount of space to get in and out of a stadium with 65,000 people. Developers are covering all of this. So only real two public policy questions remain, the most important one being $750 million in public money. Could that be spent some other way? And the other one is, let's not forget who's on the hook if this doesn't work out. It's not Sheldon Adelson, it's not the Raiders, it's not the NFL. It's taxpayers. These are bonds that the taxpayers would have to make up for. It's happened in other cities with public stadiums. That's what's in this bill that will be sent to the legislature later on today.
John, that point you just mentioned there, is that potentially a point that might kill this deal ultimately when the legislature gets together here?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people forget about this. This is only a recommendation. The legislature has the final word. They have to pass this. They can change this bill. They can pass it as it is. But if I know legislators, when you have 63 different people up there, they're going to have some of their own ideas. Do I think that this will ultimately pass the legislature? Probably, but I've been to Carson City, guys. Anything can happen up there. And then there's still another hurdle. Let's not forget this after that. That will be sent to the NFL owners who are meeting in January.
All right, John Ralston breaking it down for us again this midday. We do appreciate it. We also want to be just very clear here. Again, John was talking about this. What a yes vote here would mean if that does in fact happen today. The recommendation would then go to the governor, and then he would have to then call a special legislative session, and then lawmakers would have to vote on whether to spend that $750 million of public money on this stadium. So again, while today certainly could be a major step in getting a stadium deal done, there are still several more hurdles to cross before any construction would actually begin.
Well, we are keeping tabs on the stadium funding meeting, and we're going to bring you the vote as soon as it happens. But if you do have to step away from your TV, we will also be live streaming the meeting until its conclusion. We've got it going right now. Just go to KTNV.com or download our mobile app. It's great to watch it if you're sitting at your desk or something and you want to keep one ear on.
Yeah, it could happen at any time. So kind of a big day here in Las Vegas.
It would be a